right, good afternoon, everybody. This is Chris Clothier again, your host with the Grind Podcast, coming back to you with another episode. And I'm not really sure exactly what's going to happen today. This is a fun new way to go about recording a podcast, is what I'm told. To take the podcaster, the talent, if you will, although I use that word super loosely, and don't tell them what the topic is, but place something in front of them to read an article such as today's topic, which might be like, what are the 5 basic skills you must have to be an entrepreneur? That somebody else wrote, have you read it and then react to it on camera and on podcast. If you think this sounds super interesting, stick with me. I'm going to make it interesting, I'm telling you. Look, guys, so my team, they wanted to do something that was slightly different. They wanted to, we've done a lot of topics on real estate. We've done a lot of topics on super serious business. We've done a lot of topics where we're talking about like what we've done and sharing some of our stories. This is one, and we've even done some topics recently about real estate investors, even real estate specific. So this week they said, look, let's go back to the basic entrepreneurship, but we want you, Chris, to react to advice from others. React to what does it really take to be an entrepreneur? And of course, we had this huge debate on here a few weeks back about what is an entrepreneur? What's the difference between an entrepreneur and a business owner? And I think when I got to the end of it, to be fair, I wasn't 100% sure there was a lot different between the two. Maybe desire and growth, that kind of thing, but both equally important. So this week, I'm going to have to put my glasses on. I'm going to have to read this article, and we're going to go through the 5 basic skills you must have if you want to be an entrepreneur. And it's important, according to this article that was recently published just within the last couple of weeks, that you are super self-reflective and looking inside to develop the ability to start a business. I'm not sure where this is going, but we're gonna have some fun with it, especially when the first sentence starts off with the need to have emotional strength. Wow. All right, so let's get to the 5 just so you can be in on the fun. The first basic skill that you must have is resiliency. Okay, I think I would agree with that. So what does it mean to be resilient? It means to be able to continue to power on. I've shared lots of stories about the first, time I had to sit my wife down and tell her we had no money left. And she was like, hey, look, keep working. I shared the story about sitting down with my dad, telling him I thought I was bankrupt, and he didn't even stop eating, just kept right on eating and kind of chuckled a little bit maybe and said, you're not, let's get up, dust yourself off, go to work, let's go. Resiliency is the ability to be able to face down distraction, face down adversity, face down failure and setback. Resiliency is the ability to believe in what you're doing, possibly in the face of other people saying that it can't be done or that they don't believe. Resiliency comes in many different ways and measures, but I don't disagree with this being, a basic. I understand what the author is saying here when they're talking about resiliency, and they're talking about especially in a pandemic when things are really different. I mean, I can see that too. If you're trying to start a business or you have started a business in the past year, you've met some challenges that most of us have never had to face, from supply chain issues to customer acquisition issues to just being able to keep the attention of the people or even the team you're trying to hire, from the fact that you can't get people hired. I mean, there's been a lot that entrepreneurs have had to face the past year. So I would give that one, if I was going to rank these like on a scale of 1 to 10, like with 10 being like really important, I would give resiliency a 10. I think she's probably spot on with that one. That's not a bad one. Don't quit. Don't surrender. Keep working. Keep pushing. Resiliency is gonna get you through a lot. Okay, number 2, intrapreneurship. Above all, I don't even know what that means, to be direct. And the writer says that this one should be obvious, but I don't even know what entrepreneurship means. Let me see here. It means having initiative, being proactive, assuming responsibility, analyzing risk, identifying new opportunities, making decisions. These are the qualities that are manifested by having the ability of entrepreneurship. Okay. Basically, she's saying that entrepreneurs, it's in their DNA, that they're born, not made, is what this comes down to, that they have all these things, including a high sense of urgency, lots of ideas. They're able to commit to projects. I'm going to be direct with you. I've never heard that word before, nor used that word, but let's just assume that what she's saying is that you got to be creative and you have to be, kind of be willing to take the risk onto yourself, which is kind of like what it sounds like that's supposed to mean. Okay. All right. I can go with that. I would rank it as about a 1 on my scale of 10 of important things to have. But the way she's defined it, you have to be a competent person willing to take, responsibilities, assume risks. You got to be able to see trends. I think that, I would break down some of this into things that I think are much more important. And I just said one of them, the ability to be able to see a trend before others and then make the decision to go. So, a lot of times entrepreneurs, especially when they're starting companies, what they're doing is they're filling a need within a marketplace. Oftentimes there's somebody that has gone there first and provided a marketplace, that's going to grow, but they can't provide 100% of whatever they're doing. So it opens up the ability for other companies, other entrepreneurs to come in and start similar businesses to fill that need. I think that that's one route to take. Another route to take would be to see beforehand, be the first one to go in and do something like, I think this is a need that nobody else has identified yet, and I'm going to start this. I think they're both one and the same. Entrepreneurship, first time I've ever heard the word, so I'm going to give that one a 1. Not bad. I think that was a little reach on their part. Entrepreneurship, being digital, they have really tried to throw me a curveball with this one. My team has. All right, so the digital culture must be a fundamental skill, since a crucial characteristic of an entrepreneur is to understand that man and technology must complement each other. I'm out. I'm not sure I can continue on with this one. My team is laughing in the background. They might hear you back there laughing right now. Okay. All right. So I think that to boil this down, they're saying that it's crucial an entrepreneur embrace and be able to embrace technology, digital technology, because it's so important to growing companies and so important, for the future. I can tell you that I disagree with this one. I'm going to give this one a 0 as far as a must-have for an entrepreneur, because there's a lot of people out there that, this is like secondary. This is like so far down the road for most companies, because most companies, they've got to get, it's a proof of concept type thing. They've got to be able to get their team together. They've got to be able to get up off the ground, building a website first, having a Facebook page, having an Instagram presence, all these things. When you see a company, when they proceed what they're actually doing, when that's the first thing they go out there and do, I've seen a ton of companies fail like that. Like they're so focused on the wrong things. They're so focused on the things that don't really matter. For an entrepreneur, what the heck are you doing? Like what is it that you're going to go out there and do? How are you going to produce for yourself, for your family? What are you going to build? And then long after that, way down the line, is this idea of, the ancillary things that need to come along. And having a digital presence may be super important, but if you don't have a good team, if you don't have a good product, if you don't have the right systems and processes in place, if you don't know how to make decisions, if you don't surround yourself with the right people, all the digital culture, you can have all that you want, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be successful. All right, so I give that one 0 on a scale of 1 to 10. So far, this article, the 5 things that an entrepreneur must have, is so far for me. I need a button to push to make that noise when I want to come up. All right, so the last one. No. Heck, this isn't even last. This is number 4, a transformational leadership. Is this written in a foreign language that this is now being brought over to English? A transformational leadership. I think they mean a transformational leadership style or leader. All right, so let me read this a little bit. The leadership style is extremely important. Surely they remember that they're more traditional and authoritarian bosses, so do not replicate it. That style of leadership does not work in entrepreneurship. All right, I'm out. This is today we need leaders who adopt new technologies, agile, who reject operational tasks. Okay. I don't even know where to go with this. So, look, there's lots of ways to lead, and I'll just give you the example. My father, my brother, myself, all 3 of us are leaders, but we are all very, very different from one another. From some of us being super organized, you can see I'm not sure how much view you have on my desk. I'm sure you have no view behind the desk. Organization is not my strong suit. And I don't try and change that either. I don't really work on my weaknesses very often. I try and sharpen my strengths as much as possible. I love communication. I like meeting people. I've got a pretty sharp memory, but I like educating myself. So I love reading. I like reading different materials, periodicals, magazines, newspapers, books, all kinds of stuff. I don't always read all the way through the end. A lot of times I'm just, I might peruse something to get the basic concepts or try and pick 1 to 2 ideas out of something. But that's my style of leadership, that then I take that and I try and inspire other people. My dad, he inspires in a very different way. He inspires with a very direct, this is the way we're going to do it. I am going to achieve it. Either you're going to come along with me or you're going to get left by the side of the road. But there's no 2 ways about that. He is not what I would call a transformational leader, but he's a damn good entrepreneur. So I don't think it matters what your leadership style is. What it matters is your competency. Are you able to convince other people to follow you? Are you able to convince other people that you have a product or service that they need and want and would gladly take over somebody else? So again, I'm going to put the transformational leadership style as a fairly low. I'm going to give it a 1. All right. So I can kind of see where she's going, but you do not have to be this transformational leader that rises above traditional bosses and comes up with this new way to work today. I'm not with that. And I actually do think that my team is punking me. I'm seeing if there's another video in here somewhere. They're watching my reaction to this article as I'm reading it. So the last one, number 5, it says, always be empathetic. Whew. Okay. All right, so it says, last but not least, an entrepreneur must be empathetic, not only to understand the needs of its clients, but also to direct its work team. An entrepreneur who does not listen to others will hardly be able to communicate the vision of the business and affect, this is definitely translated from a foreign language, and affect others to achieve the objectives of the venture. According to the World Economic Forum, empathy represents a really effective antidote to stress and allows a better connection with employees, as it provides a way to create relationships based on trust. Okay. All right. So I think what they're trying to say, and I will give this one a 5 out of 10, because empathy is, I think they're trying to use it wrong here, but I get where they're going with it. To be empathetic means you're able to understand what the other person is going through, what the other person's viewpoint is. It is very, very important if you're going to be an entrepreneur, developing a service or a product and offering it out there to the general public. The only way you're going to attract like-minded clients that are going to want and be attracted to what you bring to the table is to understand them. So empathy may not be your strong suit, but that doesn't mean you don't understand your clients, right? Same thing with your style of attracting team, with your style of attracting partners or vendors that may need to be in your venture with you to be able to help you be successful. You have to be able to put yourself in their shoes and understand what they need out of this relationship to make it successful. I don't know if I call that empathy. Maybe it is. I call sometimes that's just worldview. That's having a broad view. That's kind of understanding how to build relationships with people, which empathy may be a key component of that. But I would say overall, as I'm reading through this list, let me see how they're kind of ending this. Okay, so the author of this is trying to be informative, but also be trying to be inspirational. I think some of this was pretty high in the sky, stuff, trying to be different. I don't knock that. There's lots of different ways that you can go about being an entrepreneur. There probably are dozens upon dozens upon dozens of different top 5 lists that you need to have to be an entrepreneur. This particular list, I don't necessarily agree with everything they said, but I gave a couple of them that should be on the top 5 list. I'll go with that. A couple of them I thought were pretty silly, but that is what it is. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll come back with our top 5 list. And then I would love to hear your reaction to that. What do you think about our top 5 list? Am I the one that's off his rocker? What do you think about this week? Do you think I'm nuts and crazy? In the show notes, we'll share this article. Do y'all mind doing that? Can we share the article? All right. So we'll share the article that I was just reading from, that they literally gave to me 15 minutes ago. And we're 15 minutes into the podcast now. 15 minutes ago, they said, here, pull this up. We'll turn the camera on, grab your mic, start reading, and this is what you're doing today. And I don't know. I hope you enjoyed it. I had fun with it. Here's the bottom line. If you're out there listening today, you're an entrepreneur, a business owner, you want to be an entrepreneur in the future, whatever the heck it is. Look, not everybody is cut out and built to be successful building businesses, building multiple businesses, building things that are going to grow, hiring people, all that kind of stuff. Not everybody's for that, and that's perfectly fine. Not everybody has to be. Every single team member that we have on our team is vital to our success, okay? Including us as entrepreneurs and the front men, the guys that lead it. But from our CFO, Jessica, all the way down to whomever sits at the front desk, at the front door of each of our offices throughout all of our cities, they're all vital. Whether it's somebody that is reviewing houses on the front end to see what we want to buy, to somebody who's making sure the work is done properly on the back end, to our customer service team that's talking to our clients every month. It doesn't matter what role they play. They're all vital. And a great, great, great entrepreneur, regardless what we think may be the top 5 skills, is great at one skill. And that is getting the right people in the right spots. Because once you do that, no matter what your goal is, you're moving in the right direction for it. Guys, I appreciate you joining me today. That was fun for me. That was interesting. I've never done one like that before, but we'll come back with our top 5 skills for an entrepreneur here very soon. We hope you're having a fantastic week, guys. Until we talk again, commit to the grind. We'll see you.